Hi everyone, I am Chiwendu. Welcome back again to another tutorial with Eco Designs to Fit. Today we are going to be learning how to make a double welt pocket. This type of pocket is mostly seen on a blazer, on your cargo pants, or on a jacket. If this is what you're interested in learning, keep on watching and let's get started. So here are the pieces I'll be working with. So I'll be explaining in detail what all these pieces are going to be used for and the measurements I have on top the table. So for this one, I'm going to be using it as my pocket bag. The weight is 6.5 inches and then the length is 11.5 inches. I have two pieces of it because I am going to be making two pockets, even though I'm going to be showing you how to make just one of it. This one here is for my pocket cover. The length is 5 inches and then the width is 6 inches. I went ahead to iron paper gum into the wrong part of it to give it a little bit of strength. So if you want, you can go ahead and iron paper gum into the wrong part of yours. Now here is my welt strip. I have 4 pieces of it. The width is 6.5 inches and the height is 0.75 inches. I cut this on foot and I have 2 pieces of this for each of my pockets. So my blazer is going to have 2 pockets, but I'm just going to show you how to make one part of it. Now this is the center front and the side front of my blazer. If you want to sew in a welt pocket into your blazer, it has to be in between the center front and the side front. If you're making a blazer, the standard place to insert your welt pocket is 2 inches below the waist point. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to sew in mine on the waist point. So from the shoulder, I went down to 17 inches. This is where I want my welt pocket to stay. From the center front, I'm going to take out ½ an inch. This is for the turning of the center front of my blazer. And then from there, I'm going to go in by 3.5 inches. Now from this 3.5 inches mark, I'm going to determine how wide I want my pocket opening. So I'm marking out 5 inches. Now after this, I'm going to mark a line. So I'm going to be using a straight line, just as you can see me trying to mark out. And please, you have to do this with your pencil. Now from this line, I'm going to go up by 0.375 inch. This is what I have decided to use. You can make use of 0.25 inch. Okay, so I'm going to mark it out on the 2 edges and then in the middle, just so I'll be able to connect my line properly. Now once I'm done marking out this line, I'm going to go down again and still repeat the same thing. So I'll be marking out 0.375 inch, as you can see. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to use my ruler to connect the points together. So remember, like I said, you can mark out 0.25 inch on both sides. Okay, once I'm done marking out these lines, I'm going to move over to my sewing machine so that I can show you all how to sew this. It is very simple, just pay good attention. Okay, so these are the lines that I've just marked out. Next thing I'm going to do now is bring in my welt strip. So this is one part of it. I'll fold it into 2 and then notch the middle. After that, I'm going to bring in the second one, fold into 2 and notch the middle. Okay, and then once I'm done with that, I'm also going to locate the middle of this 5 inches pocket opening and then mark it down. Now I'm going to bring in my welt strip and I'll be sewing one part of it to the upper part line and then the other part of it to the down part line. Okay, but before I sew in my welt strip, from the folded part, I'm going to equally mark out 0.375 inch. Now after marking it out, I'm going to align that particular line with the same 0.375 inch on my main dress. Okay, and then I'm going to sew. Maybe by the time I am done sewing this, you're going to understand exactly what I'm trying to explain. So guys, as you can see, I have started sewing. I'm going to ensure that the 0.375 inch on the welt strip and that which is on the main fabric aligns properly while I am sewing. And you can see that the folded part is going downwards, and then the unfolded part is in the middle of the line. So guys, I am done sewing this. I'm going to cut off the thread and then make sure that I have a straight line. Now I'm going to start with the second strip. So I'm going to place the lines aligning with each other, and then I'm going to make my first stitch on the edge of the 5 inches mark. I'm going to sew following the straight line and then stop at the other end of the 5 inches mark. Now once I am done, I'm going to go ahead and cut off my thread, and then I'll be flipping this over to the wrong part so that I'll be sure that I sewed the right thing. Like, I'm going to ensure that my lines are equal. If your lines aren't equal, please, you're going to have to complete it. Okay, so you can see what I have. Now I'm going to turn it over to the right side again, and you can see. So I believe with this you have been able to understand what I've been trying to explain. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I'll be cutting this following the middle line, and once I'm getting to the end of it, I'm going to create like a triangle. I don't know how to explain this, but as time goes on you're going to see it for yourself. So I'm doing that for the other side. You can see what I am doing right there. So I'm going to create like a triangle, and then that is it. So now that I'm done, I'm going to have to flip it over to the wrong parts. Remember, we have been sewing on the right parts, so we are going to flip over to the wrong parts, just as you can see me doing like this. After flipping this, I'll move over to my ironing table and then give this a good press. So let's move over to the ironing table. So this is me trying to give this a good press on top of the table. I am not rushing this. Even while you are sewing, guys, please do not rush. And also when you are cutting through, please do not rush it, because you might mistakenly overcut, and that way you will spoil your dress. Okay, so now once I am done giving this a good press, this is what I have. This is what the wrong part looks like. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the pocket cover so that I will sew the sides. Now remember, the width of this pocket cover is 6 inches and the height is 2.5 inches. Now I'm going to sew using 1/2 inch on both sides so that I'll be left with 5 inches, which will be able to enter into my welt pocket. Okay, so now first of all, I'm going to measure and then mark out half inch from both ends. Now after marking it out, I'm going to sew just like this, and then I'm equally going to sew the other side. Now after sewing next, I'm going to cut off the excess allowance, because we need this to stay flat. You can either cut it out or you can notch, but I prefer to cut out. Now I'm going to measure to ensure that I have 5 inches, and then I'll go ahead and turn it over to the right side. After turning it, I'm going to use like a scissors to bring out the excess that might be inside. Now once I'm done, I'm going to give it a good press, and then next I'm going to top stitch around the part that is open. Okay, so this is me trying to top stitch, and then once I am done, next I'm going to fix this inside my welt pockets. Can you see what I am doing? So once I insert it in, I'm going to measure to determine the length I want for this. Okay, so I want it to be 2 inches. I'm going to measure it and then hold it like this and turn over to the wrong side. Now once I am done turning, I'm going to go ahead and stitch it. Now my stitches is on the upper part. Okay, so the part that is facing towards the neckline, that is where I'm top stitching the pocket cover into. Okay, so I've top stitched and this is what I have. Now at this point, if you don't want to insert your pocket bag, you can go ahead and leave it like this. All you have to do is just go ahead and stitch up the sides. Okay, but for me, I want to insert the pocket bag. Now for this pocket bag, I'm going to be fixing it from the down parts, which is the parts which is going towards the hip side. Okay, and you see what I'm doing. Now after stitching it, I'm going to go ahead and bring it to the upper part just like this. Okay, so first of all, you have to start stitching from the down parts, and after stitching the down parts, you go ahead and bring it to the upper parts and then stitch also. And you see, and now I'm going to show you guys what I have. Now I'm going to have to stitch up the sides. Okay, so this is my hand. I'm trying to put my hand to show you guys. Now remember, like I said previously, there should be a triangular something that came out of it. Okay, so I'm going to have to stitch it up right now. Now before you stitch this up, ensure that your welt pockets are in order. Okay, and do not shift it around when you are trying to top stitch this. Okay, now I've top stitched on the triangle. I'm going to stitch up the side seam of my pocket. Now I am done with one side. I'm going to repeat the same thing to the other side. Okay, so I'm going to flip, and yeah, this is the triangular stuff. You can see that this one is very visible, so you can see it clearly. Now I'm going to stitch on it, and while stitching on this, please ensure that you do not stitch on the main fabric. Okay, so if you're a beginner, you want to just stitch and not back stitch. Once you are sure that you got the right thing, you go ahead and back stitch. I was done with that, and I went ahead to stitch the side seam of my pocket bag. And yeah, I'm going to be showing you exactly what we have. We are done with this tutorial, so I'm going to insert my hand into this so you guys can see. It is quite a very simple tutorial. You just have to be extraordinary careful. This is the wrong side, and this is where we'll be bringing this tutorial to an end. I hope you guys find this helpful. If you do, please do make sure to give it a thumbs up and share this video so that more people can get to see it. Subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.